I hope to make a video this week if I have time, because probably in the week I will not have much of the time after that. I would like to share with you historical something that happened in 1956 of I don't know if you know that story, the history, the historical event. I don't want to say historical event. It's something that happened, and I read it a long time ago, but I need to refresh my memories about that. But I will try to give you just a little. I'll try to give you just a little idea of the story and why I want to talk about it, because for me it's very important. Because I sometimes read stuff on social media and I watch some video, people talking about certain things, and really it made me have many questions, you know. Don't take it like I'm blaming or I'm judging or I'm saying something to irritate or searching a thing to talk. No, but it's a reality that I observe a lot. Okay, it happened in 1956. There was a meeting, a reunion or a meeting, like a small summit of Black artists and Black authors, writers. The summit happened in Paris. You can do your research if you want to. It happened in Paris in 1956. When I read that a long time ago, because I was always interested to know if the Black from Africa and Black of the diaspora, because the same Black people fighting with each other, from the Black diaspora to the Black Africa and the Black French, sometimes it doesn't make any sense to me, you know. That's why last time when I end up my last video, I say, are we the only race who are fighting each other? You know? And it happened in Paris, at the University of Sorbonne, if I'm right. I will have to check that, okay? But I think it's interesting to talk about it. The summit was initiated, the person who had the idea of that summit was Cheikh Anta Diop. He was from Africa, of course. It's African authors who had the idea of inviting Black Americans to come to meet and talk about the issue, the situation that Black in general are going through. Because obviously, Black in America were going through the situation of what happened, like the racism, all this. I don't know, 1956, I have to read the history of America. Is it the time where there was Jim Crow law? Is it the time where there was segregation? I have to read all of that. But I think, yes, it was a time of segregation, the Jim Crow and things like that. On the other side, Africa was going through a lot. We were going through colonization. And still today, we are still struggling with colonialism. It's horrible. Colonization that happened, the French colonization. Sorry, I have to find the right word in English, but you know I don't speak English, okay? So if you read a lot about colonization, colonialism, especially when you take, for example, the flagrant example of the Congo DRC, when you talk about, I'm not from Congo DRC, but I'm African, you understand? You have the situation of colonialism of the Kingdom of Belgium. I don't know if you know that. The Kingdom of Belgium was horrible. It was horrible to Congolese in the DRC area. What happened is, even children, they were cutting hand of people. If cutting your hand, if you didn't bring a certain amount of probably cotton balls or what was asked to bring to the colonizers. Colonization was horrible. And for that reason, I don't know, there was a book, we learned it because most of the things that I'm talking about here, I learned it in high school here, so it's been a while. But that book was written by an author. He was from French Guiana. He was sent because, I explained to you that there was French, black French. You have black people who are French by birth because of the situation that they were taken from Africa, during slavery, and they were sent to the island, the French island, that are the French department of territories overseas of French. So they are French by birth, but still they are going through the same situation like us, the African. So what happened is that man from the Guyana, I think it was from Guyana, I have to remember her name now. I will come back with a better video on that and all the stories. He was sent as an administrator during the time of colonization, He was sent to Congo, because the central part of Africa, the colonization was horrible there. It was horrible there. It was horrible there. And he saw what happened there. He was shocked. He was black. He was French, but he was sent as an administrator. He saw what happened. He wrote a book on that. And that book was scandal because he revealed what was happening during the time of French colonization in the area of Congo, this area. And the name of the book is Batouala. If you have this access of this book, you should be reading that book. Because I think it's important that we black, we understand the situation of each other. We cannot fight each other. It doesn't make any sense. I see somebody. So he wrote the story. He wrote the story of Batouala. Batouala. He described the horrific situation in which black people were, African were working. I mean, slavery in America, but do you know how colonization was also in Africa? It was horrible. Horrible. You still have the stigma, but the thing is we are struggling to say we cannot remain that here. We have to stand up and fight. We have been fighting for decades. For decades. Africa is fighting. Till today, we are still fighting. So the meeting happened in Paris in 1956. What came out of this meeting? Almost nothing. All black intellectuals together talking about the issue as black people we are facing. Why the meeting wasn't a success. Why? Because the same thing that I hear today again on social media. Black American authors say, writers say, we don't have the same situation. We have no connection with Africa. We don't have the same issues. We have our own issues. Sorry, we cannot work together on that. The meeting the opening of this meeting was a speech. And that speech was a letter from Dubois. If you know, I will come back to that later in the video because it's interesting to know about that. Because when I hear the same words coming back, the same statement, that's when I think it's deeper than that. The situation is very serious. So they left. They went back to America. Black Africa and Black French were like, oh, so we are on our own, obviously. So it looks like the situation is ourselves. Usually, this situation, when you see what happened, usually when Africa is going through a situation, usually when something is very flagrant, usually, I will have to be honest on that, Black French are always backing up, usually. Not every time, but most of the time they back us, like they support, they work, they manifest with us, usually. Because we all have the same situation, usually. Okay? But I noticed something that the Black diaspora, because the biggest Black diaspora that Africa has is in America. But they don't feel connected to us at all. Because obviously they say that on social media, they say that every time we don't have any connection with Africa. We don't. But I have a question, when I hear that, I'm like, do they know that when the situation that happened in Black America, we African, we take it usually, we discuss about that in our forums, in our conference, because I watch some conferences of Black Africans who are doing, because when I say Black African, you know that everybody is not Black in Africa, okay? The majority is Black, but you have also other race who are African. Yeah. So, they talk about the situation of Black America. We discuss about that. We even read it at school. We even learn it at school. Okay? We learn it at school. Probably some African can be probably disrespectful. I don't know about the situation. But usually, people who are not ignorant, okay, who are not ignorant, we talk about the situation of Black America. And even recently again, the death of George Floyd and many things that happened. For example, I remember the name of this young man, this young teenager, Trayvon Martin. I always remember the way we cried. And I remember even in France, people were walking. Black Africa and Black French, we were walking because of the situation that happened to this young man, to other Black American who died. But when it comes to Africa, okay, usually Black diaspora is white. And if you see all the Black, we have the Black diaspora in South America, in North America, you have many Black in Central America. Because of slavery, of course. But it's quite a simple example. The case of Congo DRC. Now, we are the only one talking about it. And probably some Black French who are always trying to, be with us like that. But we are on our own.